Welcome, Shark fans, to our latest edition of Chumming It Up. I'm Jameson Carter, joined this week by NSU head baseball coach Laz Gutierrez. Laz, thanks for hopping on with us today. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing all right, brother. Jameson, thank you for having.
Absolutely. Well, let's rewind back to your first year with the program. You get hired mid-December. Season started 1st of February. Arguably the toughest schedule in D2. You being a guy that is really big on leadership, culture, mental skills in such a short period of time, how were you able to blend your style within the program like that?
Yeah, I think that was the main focal point for me, right? Aside from getting to know the kids, both as individuals and players and what they provide to the team on the field, how do I blend my style or things that I value to what was already in place? And what was already in place was great. So I didn't want to get in the middle of that. So I had to be consciously aware of what areas I could really, you know, put forth what I want, implement what I wanted, and leave the other stuff alone, and not get in the middle of it and break it, because there's a lot of good things going on here. Obviously, Coach Brown did an amazing job of establishing an incredible culture, incredible environment.
We see the MLB draft underway yesterday. You see all the analysts talk about tools and guys having the speed, the power, fielding ability. So when you talk about a good player having those tools and what makes good teams, why do you focus on these other qualities?
Listen, the reality, only you have a little more than 10,000 players who ever play in Major League Baseball, right? You have over 152 years of Major League Baseball, but yet just a little more than 10,000. So it has to be beyond the tools, right? Beyond the physical attributes. And I really do believe that the mental side, people's mental strength, whether it's resiliency or whatever strategy it is what provides them that bridge to be able to apply their physical tools on a consistent basis. In other words, it's what allows these guys to apply what it is that they do well, do it on a consistent basis.
That shifting focus more towards our NSU team directly. You've obviously been away from the guys for 2-3 months now. How have you been able to instill and ensure that these guys are continually to grow leadership wise and continue to develop that culture within the program?
Yeah, I think the challenge, not only for us, but for everyone that's going through the pandemic, from a leadership standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, is how do we continue to stay connected, number one, right? And number two is how do we continue to develop? So I think right off the bat, when we saw that this was going to be more than just a week, we established a curriculum that focused on developing the mental side of the game, developing leadership skills, and implemented those on a weekly basis.
Then you having your MLB ties, being with the Red Sox for over a decade, got to ask you, what's your take on the MLB season, the battle between the owners, the players? What do you see happening unfolding here in the next couple of weeks?
It's unfortunate, right? But it's business as well. This is a $10 billion industry, and you have two sides that are trying to figure out how they're going to come together. I'm hopeful that they'll find a way to get it done, because I do think that baseball, just like the other major sports, are an essential fabric of our society, and will provide, the population an exit to be able to get away from some of the things that we're going through as a society.
And then you being a college coach and seeing the shift in the draft this year, what's your take on this shift and how difficult it is now? And what do you see, the result with collegiate players making that jump to the professional ranks, and what's going to happen moving forward?
Yeah, Jameson, listen, I always tell people that the draft is the most unpredictable process that anyone will go through, right? I mean, teams right before their pick, they're still trying to make the decision between a group of 4 or 5 players, right? So it's unpredictable during a regular year. Now you have, a very unusual year where teams weren't able to scout thoroughly throughout the spring. You got a limited amount of picks So it made an unpredictable process even more unpredictable. So I'm not too surprised that when you looked on the board yesterday, you saw a lot of college players taken. And the reason is statistically and draft history will prove to you that the safest pick that you'll take is drafting college players.
Absolutely. Well, Laz, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you hopping on, chumming it up with us a little bit today. Glad we were able to do it, my man.
I love you, man. Thank you, Jameson.